What is up, guys? Just another bonus video to do a few updates on some of the people and characters that appeared on the channel. People wondering about. I got a comment a couple hours ago from Co Thu about Bao Bao. I said, I know this video is more than 2 years old. Any update on this lady and her son, Bao Bao? I'm visiting Ho Chi Minh City this week and would like to help her out. I actually saw her randomly on the streets, and seems she's out, and she's, repentant, and she's selling knickknacks around the center of the city, so you'll probably see her around. I got her number to try to help her out because I said, I'll get some donations for you to help you back on your feet, and she said she doesn't want any donations. She just wants to find a job for her son. So she gave me her number, but I don't know anyone. I don't know any employers. Also, a very big update is we lost another person. Gonyang, one of the kidney villages, the old woman that people were kind of against because she was a staunch advocate of helping people evenly in the village, and a lot of people did have some bad things to say about her, some nasty things to say about her. Someone called her a goblin, etc., which I think is one of the big cultural differences between Vietnam and the West, where in the West, old people are seen as basically garbage. You don't have any respect for old people. I mean, there's a veneer of courtesy, but in their heart of hearts, most people in the West kind of look at old people as trash or just marking time. Old fuddy-duddies, old codgers, you don't really get the sense of respect for the elders that you get in Vietnam. And obviously I grew up in the West, so I have that Western mindset where the only people that matter are young people. But I think, because when I first came to Vietnam, I did agree with a lot of the people from overseas that said, Vietnam's so stupid how they look up to the elders. Like, elders, doesn't matter your age. Why are people respected just because they're older than me? That's so arbitrary. It's so stupid. And obviously older people are going to be less adept with technology, and unfortunately in Vietnam, the younger generation being more knowledgeable with tech and having English skills, it allows them to accrue a lot more capital at a faster rate than their elders. Elders play on the fields. They're picking up pennies, for their work, whereas anyone that's gone online or they're working with multinational companies, they're able to accrue wealth at a much greater rate. And I see this condescending attitude start to develop, because in Vietnam, money is king. Like, if you're wealthy, you do have a lot of prestige. That's also another cultural difference. Like, in the West, rich people are seen as, they're looked down upon, especially if they flaunt that wealth. Whereas in Vietnam, there's less of that envy and like, people, there's less haterade in Vietnam for the wealthy, which I think is pretty cool. I mean, I grew up in Australia, and I remember people used to just badge cars, like take the emblems of Mercedes, just because people eat the rich kind of attitude. Whereas in Vietnam, you don't really get that. I've never seen someone have a snide comment for someone that's driving a supercar, or someone could be driving a Lamborghini through a ghetto and people will still there's less of that instant hatred for it. So yeah, went off on a tangent there, but the old people in Vietnam, they're really looked up to, you know, like if someone's going to make the decision, people usually look to the oldest person to kind of veto decisions, etc., etc., which I kind of find refreshing because, you know, if you compare it to the West, the two schools of thought, like in the West, youth is everything, and people are put on a pedestal for being young and beautiful, whereas here people are put on a pedestal for being old and knowledgeable. So it kind of tells you about the intricate workings of the societies, you know, maybe. Yeah, so there was a little bit of a kerfuffle between Lee and Gunyang, and I didn't really want to get involved because I could see both sides, and I knew which side the audience was going to side on, Lee's, because I know that people are more superficial or shallow in their judgments. Calling you out, guys. So I knew that how that battle was going to go, so I didn't really shed too much light on it. Yeah, I mean, the things that people were saying that, oh, why we should support Lee, oh, she's got a nice smile, she's got a really cool voice, she sounds sweet. It's like, it's all very superficial, whereas Gunyang, you know, obviously she's not a spring chicken, she's not a Marilyn Monroe, so people instantly just sided against her. Like, I'm not saying I'm on her side, but I could see her point. In that she did, you know, at the start she was the big advocate, she was the whole reason Lee got help, you know, she was there, and people were against it because they thought she was trying to get Lee to, like, I don't know, it was just a messy situation. Anyway, in the end, she's passed away, so you guys can you know, celebrate. But personally, I was very saddened by that because I wasn't a big fan of hers, but because she was like one of those really devout Buddhists. I'm not, you know me, I'm on the Christian bandwagon. Even though I'm not Christian, I see that they've done a lot of, they've had a good impact on any society where it spreads. That's the religion where, anyway, I shouldn't, you know, be too, I shouldn't put my beliefs out there because I always get a big blowback. But as I said, Sister Eunice was a big influence in my early life, and you know, kind of a symbol of that good still exists. Even though, you know, later on I discovered good was no match for evil in this world anyway. But thanks to Sister Eunice for sparking the light there. Pretty sad, man. Like, a lot of those people, I just thought they'd always keep on ticking. Like, it came as a real shock to me to learn of her passing because they've been chugging along for so long. I just thought they'd just keep going forever. Like, and she didn't look unhealthy, she didn't look weak. But yeah, that's the nature of the beast, man. Like, when you're in that kind of you know, that village, man, it's the village of the damned. Like, sooner or later they're all gonna drop off like flies, so kind of enjoy them while you can, I guess. And another update we got was the boat kids. Jade Cooper's been on my ass getting on bikes. We sent out Stalin, this was months ago. She got on bikes, but her natural way, she got away with words where, yeah, they didn't look too chuffed, but I'll just put the video here.
Xin chào các bạn. Hôm nay mình trao quà của nhà tài trợ Shipper cho hai cháu Nga và Ngọc ở nhà nổi sông Hồng. Là 2 phần quà, 2 chiếc xe đạp. Đó. Đây, Nga và Ngọc. Con chọn được 2 cái xe đạp từ gì? Ưng ý chưa? Ưng ý rồi. Đây, các cháu đã có cả khóa luôn này. Đó. Có cả khóa luôn để trước khi mà mình đi đâu thì mình có khóa luôn ạ. Nào hai đứa nhận quà có vui không? Có thích không? À, rất là vui đúng không? Có xe đạp để đi học này. Nhìn mà vào đây đi con ơi. Đó đây, 2 chiếc xe đạp rất là đẹp. Đó. Nào Ngọc nào. Con được nhận được xe đạp thì con thấy thế nào?
Vui ạ.
Con rất vui đúng không? Con có xe đạp để đi học đúng không? Thì cũng là nhân dịp năm mới thì bác J Cooper bác có tặng cho hai đứa, mừng tuổi cho hai đứa 500.000. Đó. Thì để hai đứa đi lấy tiền mừng tuổi để mua sách. Và hai đứa phải nhớ là học giỏi nhá. Học giỏi và quan trọng nữa là hai cháu phải đi xe thật là an toàn nhá. An toàn tuyệt đối đấy. Không có là đi xe mà mình không biết luật đi là mình xảy ra cái gì là rất là đáng tiếc đúng không? Nhớ là đi xe an toàn nhá, Nga và Ngọc nhá. Rồi, nào Ngọc, con có gì để nói không?
Con cảm ơn bác
J Cooper
đã tặng con 2 chiếc xe đạp của con ạ.
Đó.
And yeah, we also saw the old woman on the river. She got some barrels to help with the foundations for her boathouse. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And yeah, speaking of Stalin's incompetency, man, like she when I was at her place, she fed me these mouldy foods. I'll just put them out here, but you know, I ate half of this before I realized there was a huge army of mold on it. And then a couple of days later, or a week later, she gave me these spring rolls, and in the dark I couldn't see, but I felt something furry on them, so I turned on the light, and they had this huge furry mold on it. And when I chastised her about it, she said, "Oh, it must have grown while I was, you know, away." I said, "I don't think it grows to that extent in that short a time." Anyway, on to more pleasant matters. The cats, man, or maybe not pleasant matters. The cats, as I said, at my aunt's place, we found them as kittens. They gave birth to some the mother gave birth to some kittens in the dead leaf kind of basket. And then I've been overseeing their growth there. Yisung has been feeding them, and Yilung also, he's been driving them off and trying to get people to go against cats because she said they're unruly and they stink, etc. But yeah, they're still around, so hopefully they'll put up with them. Might have to use some of Ross Gilmore's donations for the snowflake, man, the cat that passed away, and help some of these kittens. I'm not sure how we're gonna deal with it long term, because we can't just let them multiply to huge numbers, because then the aunts will not really like that. On cats, the Garfield, or you know, the orange cat at Jihop's place, nearly died twice, nearly drowned. There was huge rains, storms, thunder, lightning, and I think they didn't chain it. They didn't unchain it, so it nearly drowned. That's what I was told. And yeah, seeing the cats at my aunt's place, it really makes me appreciate how cool that orange cat is. That guy is really vocal. Like every time I went in there, he'd be meowing out a storm. And even when I just went to the loo, you know, you could hear him outside. And I don't think it's what people say. Like, I don't think he was really against being chained up. I mean, it is bad, but if he was really kind of like that, like when you unchain him, he'd just bolt away. But I think the main issue the cat had was the lack of stimulation, like just being tied up and seeing nothing and not having any contact with anyone for hours on end. I think he didn't really find that too appealing. So yeah, because when we'd unchain him, I just expect him to bolt and run away and hide, but he just hung around and let me pet him, and that kind of told me that yeah, I think it was more the stimulation that he was lacking rather than the actual being chained. Although that was very hard on him, because it actually cut into his fur and stuff. You could see where the chain was too tight for a while. And I did ask the guy, because I was like, why are you guys keeping him? Like, you know, because they just didn't have any, like, they didn't treat him that well. So, and they told me it's because they had a mouse problem or a rat problem, and the scent of the cat would keep the rats away. So they just used it as like a stick on the wall deodorant kind of thing, like, or odorant. And I mean, unfortunately, that attitude is pretty prevalent in Vietnam. I mean, I'm not going to start campaigning, because it's like you can only do little actions along the way and try to help some of these critters, but you're not going to stop this huge problem, because people have a lot of problems of their own to worry about rats and cats and squirrels and stuff. And you know, when they're on the margins, they do, what I found is, speaking about any animal, like, people straight away, locals will straight away say, oh yeah, this is a good way to cook that. You know, like I pointed to someone about some squirrels that I saw outside of D-Hub's store, and they said, oh yeah, it'd be good to get a hold of them. You could baste them with some good sauces and fry them up, you know, roast them on an open fire. And I've actually seen videos like that. Some of the videos are pretty I don't know, pretty sad actually, like, because sometimes I'm looking for a video on a kingfisher or a squirrel or something, and if it's in Vietnam, it's usually roasting on a fire. And I've seen some pretty you know, gory ways of dispatching them, like ways that you wouldn't want to go out in. Like, this dude had a kingfisher just splayed out, and then he just you know, wiped it out. This other dude, I think he lived in the, I mean, the thing is, like, most of they usually eat them, so at least they're doing that. At least they're not just, you know, doing it for the thrill or whatever. So there's some utility. But this guy wiped out a whole bunch, like, he set up a whole bunch of traps for squirrels, and then he got them from the traps into these muslin bags, and then I assume he just threw them into boiling water, because they didn't film that part, but then they filmed them when they were soaked and dead. And I think that's how they usually wipe them out. I mean, it's not a good way to go. But then at least he de-furred them and fried them on the fire and ate them. But that was quite a harsh watch, because I'm a squirrel fan. Yeah, anyway, just wrap it up there. Peace out.
Cảm ơn bà con thấy rất vui khi được nhận chiếc xe này.
Rồi. Thế thì hai đứa đi nhá. Đi về xong rồi là bác cũng đi về dưới nhà xem hai đứa đi xem là xong là đánh giá cái xe này, xem là xe này đi có tốt không nhá. Đây, ok. Đấy, bác cháu cùng đi về dưới nhà. Hai cái xe này cũng rất là hợp lý giá ấy. Chỉ có 1,7 triệu một cái. Hai cái là 3,4 triệu các bạn ạ.